our our friend whose name starts with T and ends with Tanqueray. Will you, God, this is when we need a whole nother hour. Will you please talk about what you think it is, besides her unique story, that sets her apart from any other human of New York?
Okay, just to orient those of you who don't know about Tanqueray, this was in 2016, and interestingly, I wasn't working. I always used the camera as kind of a framework to have all these conversations with random strangers on the streets of New York City. I was at the gym running on the treadmill, and it was a cold day, and I was coming back, and I was sweaty, but it wasn't that far of a walk back to my place, so I didn't put on a jacket or anything. I was just walking quickly back to my place, and I see this woman, and she had this amazing jacket on or coat, whatever it is, and I was just I was walking by, I was like, hey, you look great. And she said, let me ask you something. And she called me over. She said, why is it white boys that always wear shorts in the winter? And I started to answer her, and then she just launched on this monologue about how this street used to have hookers up and down it, and she made rhinestone G-strings for the hookers that would light up in the headlights like Christmas trees, and they were all coming to her. And in the 1970s, she was the biggest burlesque dancer that was ever. And then she was just going on and on and on and on. And I'm just sitting there, I'm drenched, I'm freezing. But I'm like, these stories are getting wilder and wilder and wilder. And so I said, look, just stay here for a second. So I ran home, got my camera, took a photo, wrote down everything this woman said, and I posted her that night. And it was the internet exploded. There were 3 posts, and everybody just was insane about this woman. And so me and her started meeting up at the diner near our house every single day. And the plan was that original plan was we were gonna write a podcast of her life. So I interviewed her for 100 hours. This is 20 times longer than I'd ever spent with anybody else. And we were going to make a podcast together. Then she fell in her apartment, and she was on the ground for 3 days. I know, and I was in the mountains. I was talking with her every single day, and I was in the mountains, and I didn't have reception. And she always left me 100 voicemails. She still does. And I came out from the mountains. I didn't have any voicemails from her. And so I sent her neighbor over to her apartment. She was on the ground. She'd broken her hip really badly. And so we were working on this podcast together, and we said okay, there's no time for that. So what I did is I chopped up her story into 33 chapters. And posted them on Instagram over the course of a week. And I was like, nobody's going to read this. It's just too long for social media. It was the most wildly read thing that I have ever read or ever written. Millions of people read every single word of it, and she became a sensation, and we raised $2.4 million for her during it. She got hip surgery from one of the best hip surgeons in the country. She's got a full-time health attendant now, and me and her are collaborating on a book, which is currently #1 on Amazon, might I say.
And it's not even out until July 12th.
It's coming out on July 12th.
So here at the Connecticut Forum, we're going to continue that trend.
Yeah.
You can pre-order now.
So that is Tanqueray, who has just massively changed my life, and like I said, we're thick as thieves now.
I know when
she says, you're a hustler like me. You're a hustler like me. That's what she keeps saying.
When we were warming up, we were just getting comfortable on the stage before you got here. She kept calling. It was just he puts the phone up, Tanqueray. And it's funny because I'm looking at her picture and I think I would probably just walk by her, and that just goes for everybody who you talk with. All of them have these exceptional stories. Some of them are really difficult. Some of them are pretty funny. Some of them are moments in time with no resolution whatsoever, and you only see a picture of their hands, And that's the thing, is I see these pictures of these people, and they would be somebody maybe I would just walk past. And then I see this series, and I think, It gives me pause.
Yeah, I'm just thinking about Tanqueray.
Yeah.
There's the book if anybody's interested in it.